Hello, this is Nicholas Biondo from my L16journey.com. I have this slideshow to share with you my new L16 remote Wi-Fi viewing and Bluetooth triggering setup. As you can see in the picture, there's my L16 on the left, and with my prototype of my device, and there's my cell phone displaying exactly what those two fingers are in front of my L16. And this is a prototype, and to show you briefly what I did to give you an idea of how well it could work. Okay. Now here is my L16 on the monopod, along with the cuff strap secured to the handle. And I have my two fingers in front of the L16, and I have my 4K action camera, Y1, attached to my L16 without any screws or anything, just the hair strap, an elastic band, and I can see what is going on the image. I can see the image that my L16 will capture. And the idea is to use a Bluetooth trigger. And as you can see in this photo, the subject is that picture frame, the center at the top. Right in the middle is my L16 with the bumper. Attached to that is my new Wi-Fi device I created, and I'll show you briefly how I made it. And to the left is my Bluetooth trigger, and to the right is my cell phone. So here we are able to walk away from the L16 and to be able to see what it's going to be shooting and take the shot with the Bluetooth trigger. Eventually, we will be getting this Wi-Fi capability within the L16. I can't wait for that. However, my Wi-Fi action camera has such a good app for the Wi-Fi display of the image. I hope a lighting company checks that out and see how they make their app, and then maybe join with them for that purpose. Anyway, the following is the picture that I caught with the Bluetooth trigger. No big deal, but this is the picture which you can see was on my cell phone and on the back of my action camera and in front of my L16. So it's an enjoyable thing. Here's my cat, my boss, Sophia, getting involved as I'm ready to take pictures to show you my parts that I used to create my Wi-Fi remote prototype device. And here you can see, of course, the scissors, just above that, the action camera, and just above that, the waterproof case for the action camera. The reason why I'm using that is I use tracing paper to trace the lens circle, which I'll show you, to puncture a hole within this green case. The green case is just a food container which locks with both clips at the sides. And there's some wooden dowels and some duct tape which I used, and the ruler is just for sizing. So the main concern is this green food container. And this is the close-up of it. The handles on the right and the left actually click when they lock, and it is a secure hold onto the hood, the lid of the container. So as I'm preparing to show you what I'm doing, my boss again gets involved in the situation. That's Sophia. Now here is an unmodified food container, and the modified one to the right. The one on the bottom is the bottom right is the actual one which will be touching the back of the LCD, the back of the L16. The top part of the container will have my action camera inserted through that hole, and this will be clipped onto the bottom just like you would a normal food container. And I'll show you how we do that. Now these are just prototypes, so I'm just using materials that I have in front of me. So as far as the portion that goes against the LCD of the L16, you can see the black strips, which are ice cream pop sticks. And they're just taped to two dowels. And when you put this against the L16, it fills the outer perimeter of the outline created by the bumper on the L16. And I cut out, of course, the center of the lid, as you can see. And through that, we'll see the LCD on the L16. Here's a close-up of it. And the black strips go to each end of the width of the L16. And the dowels go to the top and the bottom, uppermost part of the rear of the L16 when it has the bumper on. Now going to the other part, the top two parts, the modified and the original case, the actual container itself, modified to hold my action camera. You can see the circle. I still have the tracing paper which I use to get the circle from the waterproof case. So when I cut through the plastic of the case, I have a good idea just where to cut it without making too many unnecessary cuts. And here's a close-up of the part of the container that will hold the action camera. You can see there's a rubber band and there's two pieces of wood, duct tape, and these are movable pieces of wood which actually are like fingertips. Once you put the action camera in, they just hold it in place to make sure it doesn't move. And here's a close-up of that. And this is all handmade and just very early prototype. But eventually the whole casing will be black, not to let out extraneous light from the outside interfere with the view of the LCD. And this is the two parts with the case combined with the portion that hits the back of the LCD. So if you imagine yourself as part of the LCD, this is what would go against you. And the two clips on top lock the case, and you can see the lens from the action camera right positioned where I positioned it so you can get the full view of the LCD image on the L16. Here's my boss Sophia checking things out. But in this image you can see clearly how the rubber band holds the action camera against the case and how those wood fingers hold it in place. Here's a better view. And the green top there actually locks it in place. You'll see it in a moment. Now here is the portion affixed to my L16, the lid, if you want to call it that, which I have cut out, and you can see the LCD. Now to the right of the green hood, you'll see an elastic strap. This is all you need to affix the Wi-Fi remote device to the L16 securely. You don't have to bother with the monopod or quarter-inch screws or any time. When you're walking down and you see something that you want to do remotely, you put your hand in your bag, you take out the device, you lift up the elastic, slip it in, and you're ready to go. And it's a pleasure to use, actually. So this is the case cover, which has been cut, and we're going to affix the case content portion, which holds the action camera to it. So we'll see that. Here's another view of the cover affixed to the LCD of the L16. You can also see my cuff strap there, which I also have. Whenever I put it on a monopod, I always put that cuff strap along the handle, and I have an elastic band tied together on the handle, which locks that. So if something drops, this will hold it from hitting the ground. Okay. So now here we go. We're attaching the content part of the case to the rear of the L16 and the green lid. You'll see my wife's fingers on the action camera. And we're getting closer to it. Now, way up on the top, that green lid is actually a locking device. So it's a very well-made little container. And it was in the 99-cent store. And here we are getting closer. They're aligned perfectly. And once they are attached, and you'll see the top darker green lock is locked and it's in place. And this doesn't move at all. And the elastic on the other side of the camera, which you can see at the top here by the shutter button, doesn't interfere with the L16 at all. And also holds my viewfinder to the L16. And one more shot. This is from a direct shot from the back of the L16, showing the elastic vertical band holding the remote device in the back of the L16 securely. And this is how we do it. So you turn on your Wi-Fi of your action camera, you put it onto the telephone. It works so easily. And then we have the Bluetooth trigger, which I've had a previous video on. And Jeff Ong, that's O-N-G, Jeff. You search his name and you'll see he had a very good Bluetooth trigger. He bought one with the wrist holder. I bought the one with the necklace, because I have so many things on my wrist as it is. Well, this is the device. And here it is again. You can see my fingers in front of the L16. And I could be 30, 40, 50 feet away. As soon as nice weather comes, I'll test the distance of all this. But as long as I can get a bird or squirrel or whatever I'm looking for without my presence near the camera, this will help me do it. In the meantime, we're waiting for Light and Company to make L16 Wi-Fi compatible and usable. But in the meantime, we got this here. So if you own an action camera, I suggest you give it a try. Only about $2 worth of equipment, and we're having a lot of fun with it. And this is my remote view, Wi-Fi viewing, and Bluetooth triggering setup. I hope you enjoyed that, and good shooting to you.